You all know what a 2D platformer is. If the core of the game is centered around this, it's a platformer. And if you don't know what 2D is, then stop watching this video and go get an education. With only the big brains left, let's get into the top 5 free 2D platformers on Steam you don't know about. Expendabros! The Expendabros is an action platformer centered around tight platforming and fast-paced gunfights. If the Expendabros looks familiar, it's because it's an expansion to the game Broforce, which is an amazing action platformer. I've played Broforce in the past, but never realized it had a free expansion based on the characters from the Expendabros 3. As you play through the campaign, you unlock more of the Expendabros 3 characters. Hello, Caesar! Whenever you die or save another character, you switch characters and have to adapt on the spot to your new moveset. This forces you to learn all of the characters' playstyles. This guy is fairly simple, just having a machine gun and some grenades for his special. Whereas this guy has a chain gun that pushes you backwards because of all the kick. Yeah, boy! And his special launches you into the air. And that's just 2 of the game's 7 characters. There are lots of enemy types too, from suicide bombers to massive dudes with chain guns. The enemy types, various playable characters, as well as the destructible environment all help make the game feel varied. If you love chaotic action platformers or liked Broforce, then the Expendabros is a no-brainer. Although it's short at about 45 minutes, it's a very solid title. Neon Beats is a music-based platformer where the level is influenced by the beat of the music. It's a very simple game that's easy to read since each of its obstacles have a distinct look and color. So what did I mean when I said the levels are influenced by the music? As you listen to the song, the rotating and disappearing platforms in the level interact with the beat of the music, moving and disappearing accordingly. The music is the best thing about this game, so platforming to levels in time with the music is immensely satisfying. After you complete each level, you're given a score based on your time, number of deaths, and how many collectibles you found. If you're a score chaser, you're given some incentive to replay the game's 4 levels. If you like rhythm games and platformers, Neon Beats blends the 2 genres brilliantly, even if the game does only take around 20 minutes to beat. DreamDasher is a platforming game where you play as a dream catcher tasked with saving Dreamworld by defeating the Nightmare. The gameplay reminded me a lot of Celeste, since wall jumping and dashing are a big part of your moveset. In addition to the wall jump and dash, you also unlock the ability to change gravity after playing through a whole section of the game upside down. This makes the game much harder since you have to think of the level in 2 different ways. You can find these shards throughout the levels that increase your health, which gives you some incentive to explore. One complaint I have is that there's no indication of when this laser kills you, and it's delayed when you die, so I didn't know why I was dying for a while. Eventually I figured out that I had to dash through the laser every time it came over me. A few unpolished things like that were a little frustrating over time, but nothing too major. The graphics of the game aren't very pretty either, and the different environments are just various colors of the same muddy graphics. The instant respawns combined with the continuous soundtrack kept the game flowing though. The level design and controls are so tight that I really enjoyed my time with the game, even if I did have a few annoyances. It feels like a complete game despite only lasting around an hour. If you want more platforming goodness similar to games like Celeste, then I recommend DreamDasher. Drop Alive is an adventurous platforming game where you play as a drop of water trying to make its way back to a beautiful river. It's such a cute game because of its adorable protagonist, and the illustrative graphics look like something out of a children's book. The unique gameplay mechanic is the ability to switch between liquid, gas, and ice. Since you are water after all, the levels are designed around the different states of matter you go between. Your natural state is water, but if you touch something hot, you'll turn into gas, or enter a cold environment and you'll turn into ice. Later levels even have you switching between all the states of matter in order to beat the level. Every state of matter has different abilities too. In liquid form you can wall jump, in gas form you can float upwards, and in ice form you can break through things, but the controls are slippery. You have to manage the size of your water droplet because if you get too tiny you die. You have to be on the lookout for water spouts or golden coins to get bigger, along with trying to preserve your size as much as possible. If you're looking for a cute, adventurous game that takes about 45 minutes to beat, then I highly recommend Drop Alive. Micro Platformer is the most simple platforming game there is. There's no enemies, the only goal is to make it to the end of the static level screen and not to hit any of the spikes. The game is so simple there's not even audio. There are a few mechanics other than just a jump however. There's a dash orb that restores your dash, a bounce orb that restores your jump, and a bounce pad that launches you into the air. The game really boils down to its tight controls and level design. The controls are literally perfect for this game. Nailing a series of super tight jumps to beat a level is a great feeling. Chaining together a series of dashes and jumps feels really satisfying since the controls are so perfect. Even though you die a lot, it never becomes frustrating because of the instant respawns and the constant feeling of improvement. The only thing the game is lacking is obviously audio. If it just had some chill lo-fi beats to match with the minimalistic aesthetic and a death sound effect, this game would be near perfect. The simple graphics and tight controls makes for some of the best Twitch platforming gameplay I've ever played. The game is still in early access, but as of now there's 5 worlds, one of which I couldn't even beat because it's so hard.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Your legs ain't do shit.
If you like twitchy precision platformers, then you'll love Micro Platformer. And a quick bonus game for you. Yeah! Chrono Breach is a puzzle platformer where you're armed with the ability to warp time and a gun to shoot things. It's really easy, but it's still fun to experiment with the time warping mechanics. You have the ability to dash, slow down time, and stop time. It's a well put together game, but it only takes 10 minutes to beat, which is why I put it as a bonus game. Those were the top 5 free 2D platformers on Steam you didn't know about. Hopefully at least one of those look like something you'll check out, and if you're looking for more free Steam games you don't know about, I'll have my free Steam games playlist linked in the description down below. Let me know if you ended up getting any of these games down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with this ongoing series.